Hello everyone, welcome to today's class. In this class, we are going to learn about the most important aspect or component of Microsoft Excel, pivot tables and charts. Talking about pivot tables and charts, basically without the help of pivot tables or pivot charts with the slices and other components attached to it, it becomes really tough for anyone to summarize the huge data that we have in real time. Any data set that we take for that matter of fact is literally more than 100 line items, or you can say rows. 100 rows is basically the smallest of the data that we can imagine in real time, whereas the average data sets will be somewhere around 60,000, 70,000 line items per table, wherein we will not be able to understand what is the essence of this data, what is the aggregated values of values at a higher level and all those things without the help of summarizing this. The summarizing part can be done with the help of pivot tables, and it also helps you to visualize the summarized data with the help of charts. That is what we are going to learn in this particular class. Before jumping into today's class, let's first understand why do we need to learn Excel. Excel is one of the most powerful spreadsheet application in the world. It becomes the number one tool very easily because of the way it helps you to perform operations in terms of both descriptive as well as visualization. Say for an example, I wanted to store a huge amount of data. Excel allows you to store up to 10 lakh line items in it, and you can store up to 16,000 change columns in it. So it basically allows you to store huge amount of data. Not just store the data, it also allows you to perform different set of operations. It might be a purely data analysis, or if I wanted to perform business related analysis, Excel offers both. I can do both business analysis and data analysis. And on top of that, Excel also allows me to visualize the output that I've generated using this analysis. So Excel becomes a complete package for someone who wants to keep the data, and you can have security to it, and then we can process the data, generate an output, and then visualize it. It becomes an unavoidable tool in the IT industry. Hence, learning Excel is very vital. Now, let me quickly introduce about OdinSchool as well as about me. OdinSchool is a technology upskilling platform. They help us continuously acquire new skills. Their motto is to stay skilled and stay ahead. Talking about me, I'm Gautam Kumar Jayachandran. I have 6+ years of experience as a senior data scientist. I've worked in several technologies, starting from Excel, SQL, Python, Tableau, machine learning, and analytics. I also work with several domains like retail, recruitment, and finance. That's pretty much an introduction about me. Let's get into today's agenda. Today's agenda is to understand what are pivot tables, what are pivot charts, and how can we take the help of pivot tables and still wanted to see the data in the tabular summary. How can we do it, and how can we add slicers, basically filters only, but they are dynamic in nature. How can we add or work on slicers to make sure that we understand the complete information. That's what we are going to learn. Talking about pivot tables, it is basically simply nothing but summarizing the data which is distributed at a at the least granular level with the help of pivot tables. If you see here, I have the product of I have a table talking about vegetable selling. I have several vegetables that have been sold, vegetables and fruits. If I wanted to know what has happened and how much sale apple has brought to me, what is the sale banana has brought to me in business, I can simply summarize this with the help of pivot table. Other which ways, we'll have to either write a formula or we'll have to apply a filter and then see the data. Either which ways, it consumes more time, whereas creating a summarized output with the help of pivot tables is the easiest and fastest solution as well. Talking about pivot charts, it also helps us perform operations with the help of slicers, which are dynamic filters, which is what we are going to see in this class. So we are going to see more of examples because theoretically you cannot understand this. So we are going to see everything in detail. Let me take the largest table that I have. Yeah, let me see how many line items I have. Look, see here, I have 106 line items in this case. I have so many columns as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick this table for performing pivot table related operations. I'm just creating a new Excel and then paste it. Now this is how the data is there. Now at the end of this particular class, we will be able to understand this data completely with the help of visualization as well as with the help of pivot table concept. Let me start working on this. Now let's first understand how many dimensions we have. We have date dimension, we have product dimension, region level dimension, sales representative level information, customer level information, units, sales, and cost of goods sold. Now let me quickly zoom this a little. Yeah, I don't want this to be percent. Yes, perfect. So look at this data. I cannot tell how many, what is the total number of products sold and what is the cost that each product sold and what is the count of each product sold and all those information. Say for an example, I wanted to know total number of products sold, what is the sales amount and what is the average amount. Let me show everything using a formula first. There are these many products. I wanted to know the count, I wanted to know the sum of sales, and I wanted to know the average sales as well. Okay. Yeah. So yep, to calculate this, what we have to do is we have to write three different formulas in this case. I'll simply use a count if in the first place. In count if the product is what I'm picking, I'll just freeze this and then my criteria is this. Talking about sum of sales, I will use sum if and my range is the product. In my criteria, this is my sales value. If I just do this, it gives me the sales value as well. I'll just keep this in dollars, making sure that everything is aligned from the table. Now to keep this in dollars, right? To calculate average, I can do sum divided by count. What I did, sum divided by count. Yeah. So basically here to achieve, to understand how many products have been sold, how the distribution is there. Sunshine have been sold 25 times, and then we have the sum of sales for Sunshine is this much and the average sales is this much. But we have to write so much of formulas here, and then someone who's new to Excel who doesn't know formula, it becomes really tough for them to summarize the data at a higher level. So rather what I'll do is I'll choose a table, go to insert, and inside I can choose pivot table. In pivot table it has selected the range, and then I wanted the data to be present in the same Excel file. That's all I have to do. Just give OK. It gives me all the fields that I wanted to choose. If I wanted to apply a filter on the pivot table, I can drag and drop those things here, and then I can choose what needs to go where. Now I want sales to be there in the values. Then I wanted to see everything at a product level. I'll just drag product into this particular place. Now what I'll do is I will drag uh, sales again one more time, sales again one more time. Here the second sales that I have, I'll just right click, choose value field settings. Instead of sum, I wanted to perform count. I'll simply say count. Then here I can just simply choose this as, yeah, sum of sales looks like a right output. Here I wanted to perform average, I'll choose this, and then I'll choose average operation. I'll say average sales. Simply close this. Let's validate the numbers. Look at this. So the data is sorted in A to Z. I can do the same thing here as well. See here, we have sum of sales first, and then we have all the other things later. Now let me sort this. I can change the order in which the data is sorted. So I'll simply choose field list, and then I'll keep sum of sales below to count. I want count first, then sum of sales, then average of sales. Now let's validate the numbers. See this? 15, 15, 22, 22, 26, 26, 17, 17, 25, and 25. Also it gives me the grand total. Talking about sum of sales, look at this. The sum of sales works exactly like the same way. We need to have it in the data. Just format this in terms of currency so that the values will look exactly the same thing. So what we have achieved here, basically summarizing the data at a product level, can be achieved without knowing formulas or writing lengthy formulas. Pivot table is basically the summarized view of the data that we have. That is how powerful pivot tables can come into picture. Now I wanted to add filters to this. What I have to do, I have to choose field list. Here I wanted to see all this information at a sales representative level. I will drag sales representative into the column, into the filter shelf, and then look at this. It has all the sales representatives present here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to keep or see only the data for chin, and then press OK. Everything automatically changes and tells me the information about chin. This way I don't want to write one more formula to understand what chin has done in terms of sales. Whereas in this case, if I have to write formula, I have to change the if formula to if else formula and achieve the same output. But again, I have to supply the range, I have to supply the criteria and all those things. Whereas here it directly works as a dynamic filter. I can just choose francs and then it tells me about the information about francs. If I wanted to see about everyone, I can see everyone. If I wanted to select multiple items, I can choose multiple items. I wanted to see the sales, all this information about products for every sales representative except Galt and Farm. It gives me the values as it is without us breaking the head. It by default gives you an information which is more powerful than writing a formula. This is how we can take the help of pivoting and apply logics to it. So in order to do this, what I'll do is I'll simply delete this. Let's create a detailed pivot table in the next sheet. I have created a pivot sheet here, pivot table. Here I wanted to see what are the products that have been sold, at what region, who sold this, what is the customer, and what is the units, sales and costs, everything at every level. But if you see the output here, it does not make any sense. Belen, East, Chin, QT, Franks, MNGD, TTT, T, and all these things doesn't make any sense because we are not used to this particular type of view. We always want to see the data in a tabular view. To do it, what I can do is I can simply right click on this. I can also have subgroupings. Subgroupings is what will be the total value of Belen, what will be the total value of Midwest, South and West region. Then it starts for each and every product, Calota and every other thing. Now, if I don't want to see the subtotals, I can right click on the table, choose subtotal customer. So we don't want to see the subtotal at a customer level, and we don't also want to see the subtotal anywhere else as well. Yeah. Now what I'll do is I'll choose a field list, and see here what I'll do is I'll do some formatting here. In order to do formatting, I'll right click field settings and then go to layout and print, where I'll choose show item labels in tabular format. If there is a null behind this, it will repeat the previous item by choosing this. Then I will choose the same thing here, layout, show items in tabular format, just give OK. Sales representative, same thing. We don't want a blank, and only one thing left is customer, which is already at a tabular layout only. But however, to keep things safe, I'll do this. Yeah. Here I'll just remove the grid lines. Look at this. This information is now at a sales representative level. We don't want sales representative subtotal also, so let's remove that as well. Right click, subtotal sales representative. I remove it. Now you will have information only at a product level. I'm just saying, trying to remove if there is any other subtotal. I'll remove the region level subtotal also. Then I'll simply try keeping. Yeah, now everything is at a product tabular view only. Now if I wanted to see every information, this is Belen, the product is Belen and the region is East, the sales representative is 10, the customer is QT, and the sum of units sold to this customer by this sales representative is 30. Sum of sales happened by selling 30 units is 660, and the sum of cost of goods sold is 300. So we can understand every information at a particular level with the help of pivot table. This is literally like recreating the entire table that we have there. But the good thing is we can actually subset this data at a particular product level. If I wanted to see the information at a whole level, I can simply subset everything and then I can see the information only at a particular level. If I wanted to group everything at a region level like this, that is also something that I can do. See here, at every product we have region level information. Say for an example, at every region I wanted to know what is the sales representative values. I'll simply choose to show only sales representative information, not the product information. Look at this. I can keep changing this. I can keep showing who are the sales representatives who worked in this particular region for this particular product, and we can show the output accordingly. And we can see the business. So this is all about trying to summarize the data through which we will be able to perform operations which helps us understand the business as well as the data. There's a concept of pivot tables. I can also add more filters in this. I can add date filter. I wanted to see all this information only for a particular time period. Let me show you. Yeah, I'll choose this. I'll ask the machine to allow me to choose multiple line items. I'll choose only the first 10 days of January. I wanted to know what happened in the first 10 days of January. This is how much we have sold, or this is the business that happened in the first 10 days of January. So this is how we can actually understand information with regards to the entire data set. We don't want it to break our head in applying filters, writing formulas and doing things. Rather, we can directly understand how the data is distributed by summarizing it. This is what a tabular summary will look like. Now, I wanted to perform a task which will allow me to understand the entire business with the help of pivot tables at a sales representative level. Sales representative dashboard. Now I wanted to create a sales representative dashboard using both pivot table and charts. How will we use it? Now let's first have what are the dimensions that we need to see. I wanted to see sales representatives with products, sales representatives against region, and then against customers, and then I wanted to see all these things on all three units. What is the total number of units that they have sold? What is the sales happened through this? What is the cost of goods sold? And then I wanted to add one more layer also, average sales. Same applies for all the three dimensions. Now I wanted to see one dimension at 4 measure level. Measures are basically numerical values. Here one dimension against all 4. Here also does the same thing. Now in order to do it, first let's create one pivot table at a time. First thing is at a product level. Now what I'll do is I'll simply create a pivot table in a new sheet. What I wanted to do is at a product level, units sold, sales happened, and cost of goods. And what I wanted to add one more information to it. One more information is basically the average sales. So instead of sum of units, I'll say total units sold. Then I will say total sales. Here total COGS. Then finally we will have average sales. All these three information has to be given with a dollar. I'm just choosing the format appropriately. Remove the grid lines. Okay. This is my first table, which has the product level information and the total number of units sold, total sales happened, total cost of goods, and what is the average sales. Then I'll create another pivot table for the same reason. So I can just create another pivot table here. Now I wanted to see everything at a region level. Customer, yeah, perfect. And then I wanted to add one more thing, and this I'll just change this into total units. Here also we can change this into total units. Then I'll come to this pivot table. I'll simply say total sales. Then I will change this into total costs. Finally, we will have average sales. Yeah, this pretty much is about the region level information. Just format it nicely so it will look good. All right. Next pivot table that I wanted to create is for customer level information. I'll go to sheet 3, create. Okay, I'll create it here. So we will have bandwidth to. We will have the places to see the data information. Yeah, I'm just going to keep customer units, sales, and costs. How many customers we have? We have huge amount of customers, so we'll keep it as it is. As usual, we will change things properly. Value field settings, total units. Here we can choose whatever aggregation we wanted to do. Since in this case the requirement is very simple, perform addition and average, I'm just using sum directly. I'll simply say total costs, and then finally we have average sales. As usual, formatting things, and then I wanted to have everything in dollars. Right, let me add some title to each and every view so that we will understand what is happening. The first thing is, let me format things. I'll say product versus sales rep. I'm changing the font color into white, and then I'll simply copy this and paste it here, and then I'll change the information here. It should be region versus sales representative. Then here it should be customer. So as we decided, we were able to create all these three information as tables. Then we need to put this into visualization so that we can create a dashboard out of it. Now to put everything into visualization, let's learn charts. Mm, Now I wanted to create a chart out of it. So what I can do is I can go to this design place where I have an option to change the table, but I wanted to create a pivot chart. I'll simply choose pivot chart here after selecting the table. So it shows me what are the default charts that are available. Say example, I wanted to create a Let's keep pie chart for region. Hmm, just saying what will be a good chart. Doesn't look so good. So basis your interest, basis the requirement, we need to pick the chart. Let me see the column chart here. Yeah, column chart looks decent. Yes, this is, I think it's a one of an appropriate chart to be used. So let's use this chart for product versus sales representative. What I'll do here is I'll do certain things here. I will eliminate the grid lines in the chart. I don't want the legend has to be there, but I'll replace the legend. I'll hide all the field buttons and then I'll choose the legend to be in the top or maybe in the bottom. Yeah, that way it is good. We need to give a title to the chart. For the title, what I'll do is I'll simply choose what we have done here. That becomes my title. And let's try adding labels. Sorry, labels and see what happens. Labels doesn't look so good. Data table doesn't look so good. Let's try keeping this in a different way. Nope, doesn't look good. So let's keep it as it is. Let's keep the layers also. I just was trying to see if I can remove this, but we need to understand this. But in perspective of business, okay, let's keep it. Let's not even change it. Let's keep this. This is basically product versus sales representative. Now let's create a view. Let's create a chart for this particular pivot table that we have created. Basically, region versus sales representative. A pivot chart. Hmm. Let's keep something in line chart which looks good. What happened here? We have four different information. Cox is there. Total sales, average sales is there, but total sales is missing. Our total sales must be hiding behind. Okay, let's see a different chart this time. This looks okay, so let's keep this chart. This is going to be my second chart. Let's format this to the same size as we have here. And I do the regular formatting, remove all the buttons from the chart. Let's not have everything that is disturbing the view. And then okay, first let's remove the grid line. Let's have the legend, but we need to keep the legend in the bottom to keep everything uniform. I think we need a chart title, and that's all it is required, I believe. Yeah, let's keep it there. For chart title, I'll choose the option that we created region versus sales representative and simply bold it. That way, both my charts look are gives me business about it. Then the last one that we have here is about the customers. Go to analyze. It's a huge chart, so I'm just trying to see if I can have an information that will be helpful. I've not chosen this. Okay. Scatter plot doesn't work because we have multiple dimensions. If it is two dimension, then it should work. This looks like a good chart. See, the idea behind creating a chart is that it has to help people understand what we are trying to convey. So I'm just trying to keep a chart which will, add values to the business or help business people understand what is this actually. Hmm. I want to create one more line chart. I think since we do not have a line chart, I can create one line chart here. Hmm. But again, I'm just concerned about the insight that has to be generated out of it. Let's keep something in area chart then. Total units, total sales, total costs, and average sales. Okay, let's keep this. So here, what I can do is I can remove the grid lines. Then I don't want these buttons. Most importantly, I wanted to keep the labels, sorry, legends in the bottom. Then I will have a title. This title will be equal to what we have here, which is basically customer versus sales representative. Now we have all these three charts created. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep all these charts outside the sheet and keep it as a separate view itself. So it looks okay to me. I just wanted to format few things here so that my chart doesn't stand alone separately. The charts, we can actually reduce the size of this chart a little. That way we will have bandwidth to accommodate the title also. Then let me see if I can reduce the size of this a little. I wanted to display everything inside a view. That's my plan. Let me, yeah, I think this should be suffice. Exactly. I think we can still accommodate this to have a huge gap. Yeah. Then we can choose the first two line items and then given header towards sales representative dashboard. We can simply format this. I'll simply use the same formatting that I generally use. Use the size. If I remove this option, now I have the entire dashboard here. Now this is not just the easy thing, not the best thing that we can do about do from the data. What we can also do is we can actually create something called as slicers, which basically, as I told you, it is simply nothing but the dynamic filter that we need to keep. For creating slicer, you have to choose a pivot table, go to analyze, here choose a slicer. In slicer, we have no information about the sales representatives. So if I choose sales representatives, that becomes my slicer. I'm just going to keep it formatted. Anything that looks decent to me should be fine. Yeah. I'm just trying to see if there is anything else that we need to do. Nothing. So what I'll do here is I'll keep this, and then I wanted to connect every table that we created. So if I make a change in this particular slicer, I want this to get impact the other pivot tables that we have created here as well. Say for an example, if I choose francs, the entire table here shows me information only about francs. If I choose chin, it shows me information only about chins. I can multi-select also by using control option. I can remove all the filters like this as well. So I've created this slicer. I'll go to the sheet here and then paste it here. Now all I have to do is, as a user, as a front end user, where I do not know anything that is there inside this data, I can simply choose chin. and my views gets automatically changed. If I choose Franks, the views will tell me what is the sales done by Frank in the product section, in the region section, as well as in the customer section. In Galt, I can see what Galt has performed. I can understand what FAM has performed, what Seox has performed, and Smith has performed. So it is very vital to understand how can we put use of both pivot tables and pivot charts and achieve an output that will help us to understand the business. Now let's understand the business of Chin. In the product section, looks like he has performed, the total sales is good. The average sales that he has is $1,012 for the product Calota. What is the total product? We can actually add more slicers also. Let me add few more slicers to bring more interest to the data. Analyze, slicer, I'll choose product also, I'll choose region also, and I want both of them to be formatted in the same way that we have there. And then I wanted the report connections to be made for all the three pivot tables that we have created. Let's pick these, sorry, and go here. We want to see the ribbon. I'm just keeping this away. Now what I'll do is I'll format this nice and smooth, so we will be able to filter whatever that we wanted to filter. We don't want this much of width. This is enough. Same applies for region also. We can still work on the formatting piece a little more. Yeah, I'll remove the filter. Now I wanted to know what Chin has performed in the East region. Look at this. The data talks only about East region for the sales representative Chin. In the East region, looks like the total number of units that he has sold is 160, and the total points that he has sold is, what is this? Total sales is 3,610, and the average. This is total cost of goods sold, and this is his average. Same applies at a customer level also. For the customer TRU, the data points that he has stored is somewhere about 2500, and all the other data points reflect the same thing regarding his business. Say for an example, I wanted to see it for only one particular product. I can choose a product also. So looks like he has not served any customers in the region of East for the product Belen. Let's see for Calota if he has served yes. All this information for this customer, for these customers QT, TRU, and TTT and WSD, he has sold all the products in Calota only. He has not performed any sales in Belen. And if I talk about Sunset, looks like he has sold some products for Sunset as well. So I can choose multiple options in all these three slicers, which are dynamic filters. Here also in region also I can choose multiple filters. Same happens here also. You can see that my charts gets automatically changed according to the selection. Not just the charts, the pivot tables that we have created in the next sheet automatically gets changed into the value that we have selected. Look at here, we have the data subsetted basis of selection. We have chosen only 3 regions. You will see only 3 regions in the output. So both your tables as well as your charts gets automatically validated for the filters that we apply or choose, and basis that the output gets generated out of it. This is how easily we can perform certain set of operations in terms of summarizing the information and achieve tasks out of it. Now there is one more small, or I would say very important aspect to performing this particular visualization, which is basically pie chart. How will I create a pie chart that will give me certain understanding of the business? Now to do it, I'll go to insert. I can directly choose recommended charts. Here we have so many columns selected. Now I wanted to know what is the contribution of sales done by each sales representative. That's all I have to do. I'll choose a pie chart here. I'll simply enable a pie chart. But here, since the data is granular level, it is not giving me information. What I'll rather do is I will create a pivot table in the same sheet. Would like to create it here. Sales representative, sales. Now, as I told you, I wanted to know what is the percentage contribution. If Chin has sold for $18,000, what is his overall contribution to the business? Now, to understand this, what I'll do is I'll go to sum of sales, choose value field settings. Here, I'll choose values as percentage of grand total. We can do several other options also, but however, I'm choosing percentage of grand total. I will simply change this into percentage share. Look at this. Now the highest contributor is basically Chin, and let's sort the data in descending order, and then we will see who has contributed the most and who has contributed the least. Looks like Chin has contributed to the most and Gold has contributed to the least. Now in this case, what we can do is we can go to insert, choose a pivot table. Look at this. Sorry, a pivot a pie chart, and then this pie chart gives us more information about the business than any other thing. So I'll just simply choose all the buttons to be removed, and then I'll simply change this into percentage share by sales representatives. Yeah, and then I can show the percentage also inside this data labels. It will give me the information as it is. Center, inside, end. Yeah, this works fine. Outside end. So it tells me how much percentage of sales have been contributed by each and every sales representative in the overall business. This is how we can actually take the help of both pivot tables as well as pivot charts to understand how the data is being distributed at a higher level. Rather than checking the information at every granular level, we will be able to perform this sort of operations, aggregate it, and then visualize it to help understand the business in a much better way. That is the idea behind today's class. I'll simply save this file, pivot tables and charts. Simply save this and then close it. Let's go back to the theory. Okay, let's quickly recap what we have learned in this class. That brings us to the end of this class. We learned about pivot tables, pivot charts. How do we create a tabular summary from the pivot tables, and how do we add slices to make sure that everything works dynamically. Now, pivot tables are basically summarized tables. There's a part of Excel where it basically um, it simply creates a summary of the data which is spread at a very granular level. It simply converts information at a higher level and provides us an information out of it. Then talking about pivot charts, they help us to create the view on top of the pivot tables that we have created, so that the tables and charts will be linked always. So any changes in the form of slices and filters applied on the table gets automatically reflected on the pivot charts. Talking about tabular summary, if I wanted to recreate the entire table view and using pivot option, we can use it. We can use the tabular summary option in the pivot tables and achieve the same. Talking about slices, they are the dynamic filters through which we will be able to change the values and expect the charts and tables to reflect the changes that we have asked to do in terms of filters. That's all about pivot tables, charts, and slicers. Thank you so much for joining this class. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Thank you so much one more time.